Okay, right. So I'm going to show you how to use Quixel and how to export something from 3dsMax into Quixel. So I've got this little window that we're going to use here. So it's made up of frame, a piece in the back, which is the actual window, and then a piece of wall. All of it has been attached together. And that's one of the key things when you're exporting something into Quixel. It seems to work better when things are attached. They don't have to be welded together, but they have to be attached as one object. So this has got no texture on it whatsoever, but it has been unwrapped. So you can't get away from unwrapping, unfortunately, sorry to say. So unwrap whatever it is that you want to use in Quixel. And then this is the one step that's quite important. Quixel has to use what's called ID color. And that's simply each piece of your geometry that you want to have a certain texture. So, for example, if this is going to be stone and the frame is going to be wood, then I want this to be colored like a light blue and this to be colored a red and then the window to be colored a yellow, for example. And then Quixel will know, based on those colors, what to give textures to. Okay, it'll make more sense in a second when we actually do it. So with it unwrapped, the next stage that you want to do is create what's called a multi-sub object texture. So select any of your spare spheres, and then instead of standard, click that and change it to multi-sub object. You can keep the old material if you want, or you can discard the old material. Regardless, we're going to change it anyway. So I'll just discard it. And then you get a set of ID colors here that you can choose and change. So I'm only going to use 3 because I've got a window, a border, and a bit of wall. So in number 1, I'm going to choose a standard material, and I'm going to give it the color of bright red. Come back up the stack. ID number 2, again, standard material. I'm going to give it a color of light blue. Up the stack, 3, standard material, and I'll give that one a color of green. Okay. So it all looks a little bit odd, but that's essentially what we've got.
Wait, how did you make that color? The ID.
The next bit, it's all on here, James. The next bit is that you have to render this out. Now, if you notice at the moment, those colors have gone pretty much where I wanted them to. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes all of the colors will just go in random places. If I just collapse my unwrap, so I'm happy with that. If you want different parts of the mesh to be colored with the different IDs, you can change that quite quickly. So have your element selected, choose the window frame, for example, and then as you scroll down on this list, you've got here material IDs. It's currently set to number 2. So if I change that to 3, it will go green, the same as the window. But I do actually want it as 2. So that's how you set up what colors you want for each different part of your object. Okay. So when that's done, what you need to do is render to texture. And what we're going to do is render just a diffuse map, because all we want is an unwrap of those colors that we've just chosen, so that Quixel knows where to put its textures. So you come down to render to texture, have your object selected. It will tell you in here if you've got your object selected or not. Here's where we're going to output the finished textures to. So I just want to quickly navigate that back towards my Quixel test folder. And then scrolling down, make sure you're using existing channel map because you've unwrapped it. If you haven't unwrapped it, you can choose automatic unwrap, but it makes a right hash of it, so don't even do that. Always unwrap the things yourself. Make sure it's existing channel map, and then channel map number 1 over here. Then I'm going to export a diffuse map. This wouldn't normally be there, so it's because I've done it once before. So you go to add, diffuse map, add elements. And then you can see here that I've got a size. It wants to render out 256 by 256. I'd actually quite like it to be 2048. So I can click that, or you can go 1024, etc. That's it. All we then do is click on the render button, and it will do a quick render for us. This is just a warning to say that it's going to render a diffuse map, and it's got nowhere to put it. It's expecting you to target it back into the material editor, but we're not doing that because we're taking it into Quixel. Click on continue. I'm going to overwrite the file that I did last time because I've done this once already, and it renders that for you. Okay. We can now export our mesh into an OBJ. So file, export, selected. Change this to OBJ, give it a name. Obviously, it's window for me. And I can put it in the same folder as I put my textures. Overwrite that one. Make sure, this one's important right here, that faces are turned to triangles. If you do quads, Quixel ends up breaking those quads into triangles, and then it, for some reason, flips half of them. So you end up with half of your object invisible or flipped. So make sure that's set to triangles and then click export. Shouldn't get any errors or any warnings in here. If you do, you need to sort those out. Then we can close Max and start up Quixel. Okay, so this is basically Quixel. This little piece here is a plugin into Photoshop. You notice that it opened up Photoshop. I'm just going to close any of my. Oh, I can't close that one, can I? Okay, I'll leave that one open. So the thing that you want to be using is DDO. That's where you import all of your meshes and add all of your textures. NDO allows you to go in and affect your normal maps. So I'm going to show you how that works in a second. This one here, this only comes, you won't have it on your machines. This is an extra thing that you can buy, and it's basically all of the textures that you get complete with Quixel. You can get a hell of a load more through, I can't remember what it's called. It begins with M, obviously, but it's something that they've called it, and it's like a material library full of all these Quixel textures that you can use. So you get a few default ones when you go and you buy it anyway. So DDO, start that. And then we want to import your mesh. So click on the mesh. I'm going to choose my window, OBJ, and open. And then here's my ID map. So this is the thing that we made just now in 3dsMax. So click on ID map. Scroll down and find the one that we just created. It should be this one. We're going to make a different one. Let me try that one. I did overwrite the last one, didn't I? So it should be okay. You can see the calibration profile here is set up for Unity 5. You can set it up for UE4. You can set it up so that it works with Toolbag, or you can set it here so it uses with SkyShop and Toolbag 1. Unity 5 is what you guys will probably be using for your environment. So we'll set it to Unity 5 and then click on Create Base Mesh. Does a little bit of working out for you. You notice over here there's lots and lots going on. This is it, configuring out where to put textures, essentially. All right, so I haven't told it to add any textures to it straight away. I've just told it to import it. So if I click on the little 3DO, it will show me my my window. There it is. And I'm just going to minimize that slightly. It's quite difficult working on a screen this small. And then what you can do when you're in this window, if you hold down C on the keyboard, it will show you the colors. Okay, so we've got green, red, and yellow. If I hold down C, then hold down the Shift button, and then click on one of the colors, left, just a left click, it will open up a window that allows me to put on various textures. So here's all the textures that come with Quixel. You've got different carbons and leathers and all those kind of things there. So if I could jump straight to like plaster or to concrete, I can choose any of these that I like. Let's see, stone might be interesting. So let's put this texture on the outside. It's quite heavy on your PC's processing power. So a good CPU and RAM is needed, really, for this to run well. It's not to say it won't work at home for you, though. Okay, that texture looks nasty. So there's my kind of weird concrete color. Yeah, it is covered in moss, isn't it? Oh, it's mossy stone I picked. Why did I pick mossy stone? Oh, well, we'll leave it for now. So then I can just click, hold down C, shift again, and then choose my red section. I can give that a completely different texture. Let's try wood. That'll do. Now obviously Quixel works out all of your tiling on the texture for you, so you don't have to mess around with that.
Does it do
AO, yeah. And then I'm just going to sort out that window as well. So C, Shift, and then click. And then we'll choose, I think there's glass as an option on here. Where is it? Oh, there. We'll put dirty glass.
Does that do opacity maps too?
It throws in reflection maps and opacities as
How
well.
many layers have you got? Isn't glass quite hard to do?
A lot. So there's my glass texture, my wood texture, and this horrible moss. I'm going to see if I can get rid of that.
I'll leave it at the bottom.
It looks horrible. We'll just put anything random on there. Let's put scuffed brown metal. There you go. Okay, so that's
What's the light in the window?
that's the basics of how to throw on all these textures. So you can see that they just work really lovely. Quite little in discrepancy there, but the rest of it looks quite nice. And all of this sort of PBR, this sort of the light rendering is all built into it and built into the textures. You can save out, so you can mess around with depth of field and things around in here to kind of make some nice fancy screenshots so that you can show off your work, or you can export those textures out. So here you've got a save icon. You can save all the maps, and what it's going to save for you are these maps at the top here. So you can see that we've got, if I just move these out of the way, the albedo map is what you guys would commonly know as the diffuse map. So I can come into this albedo and decide to start painting on it because I've got it open here. So I can choose my brush tool. I've got a brush here for kind of leaky rust. It's just one that I found online. So you can choose any other one. So this one here or that one there. So I can use this and perhaps put in a spot of detail like at the bottom of this window as if there's sort of moss or rust kind of like streaking down. That color's horrible. Sure why it's going green. As soon as you paint in or any details that you want to add on, if you click on the little force refresh, then it will change what happens in this viewport over here. So we can just quickly see that. So that updates and puts in that extra detail there at the bottom for us.
How did you get rid of the shiny wood?
Shiny wood.
You said you had that bit on the corner.
Oh, I think that might just be my unwrapping that's made that go a bit funny there. And then the other thing that you can add in is the fact that you can edit normal maps in here as well. So it's roughly at the bottom of that. So if I draw in, if you click on the NDO, which allows you to change your normal maps, it opens up a new little icon here that allows you to change and add in normal maps. So if I go to, oops, I'm on the wrong layer. Make sure I'm on normals. So all your maps are on the top here, by the way. So if I go to normal, then I can start texting. So if I write down here, window, place it just here because I think that's visible. Then I can choose over here on my normal to change my text into normal text. So it will make it bump out, bump in. If I do that, you can see that's affected in the normal map. Here I can affect the depth, whether it's beveled inwards or outwards or embossed or whatever it is. So I can make edits to my normal map. And then if I do my old refresh again, we should see Mike's window bumped onto that detail there. So you can go in and add all your own bump maps, etc. into it. So as soon as you go to save, it will save all the different maps into the file that you first opened everything out in. So I should have everything saved in my Quixel. Where is it? Quixel test. Here's my window number 2, and there's all my maps ready for me to take into anywhere I want. So Unity or whatever.
Is there a way to change the orientation of the wood? Because if you look at the wood, it's going up rather than across. Is there a way to keep it rotating?
You can go into, so anything that you've got in your scene is all under here. So see, I've got Mike's window. I'm in the normal at the moment. If I go into the albedo, I can go into, here's the old wood. So if I select that, here, I think you can probably come in here and start editing the direction in which this is facing. They're all masks, so let's have a little look. Don't want to change that. I wonder if it's a case, I'm not sure, mate. I think it might be that you have to rotate it here, but that'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it? Don't know. I'd have to get back to you because I'm not sure about that one. I'll stop this here because that's roughly.
Spin.